What's going on, fantasy world? Thanks again for joining Tankers Fantasy Football. We're going to talk about Week 12 here. We're going to give you some waiver wire ads as well as some good matchups, some bad plays throughout the week here.
Oh, we're going to lead it off with some waiver wires, and we'll start with some waiver wire running backs. And if Wendell Smallwood is still on your waivers, I think you should probably get up on him for at least this week. I mean, they're saying Ryan Matthews is probably definitely out for this week and maybe a couple more. And if Sproles doesn't play, if Sproles somehow doesn't suit up this week, I think it's all systems go. RB2 Wendell Smallwood out there.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a play. It more than likely is just going to be a 1 week Band-Aid. But I think anytime this late in the season, if you're struggling, if you can get a solid RB2 off of waivers, it's all go for you.
Oh, yeah, trying to get that late season playoff push. I mean, if you got some waiver wire bucks left, I think you should put a bunch on old Wendell Smallwood if he's still available. And this next running back's kind of a wait and see kind of guy. You know, he's the next man up in Cincinnati, and Rex Burkhead. I mean, you can't pick this guy up and start him by any means, but he's definitely kind of worth a look because, you know, Jeremy Hill's not a world beater out there, and there's a lot of action to be held with A.J. Green and Gio Bernard going down for and Gio's done for the year, and A.J. Green's probably out for a significant amount of time.
Let's hit into some wide receivers here. We talked about A.J. going down for looking like at least a few weeks here. But you got Boyd and LaFell, and both have kind of been coming on lately a little bit here.
Oh, Tyler Boyd has surprisingly been pretty good these last couple of weeks in like PPR realms. I mean, looking going forward, I don't know. I think Tyler Boyd might be the player to own, but I guess, I mean, a lot of these targets might go Tyler Eifert's way, but I don't know. I mean, this whole Cincinnati Bengals situation might be downhill from here on out. It might be more leaning toward the running game, but if you're in desperate need of a wide receiver 3/wide receiver 4, Boyd and LaFell, I guess, are worth looks out there on your waiver wire for sure.
And another guy coming on lately is we're talking about Adam Thielen for the Minnesota Vikings here.
We put him in that lineup last week on the sneaky tip at 11:30 Central Time before kickoffs at noon. And oh baby, he paid it off in like the first 15 minutes out there with an early
nice
first quarter touchdown. They reviewed it, clearly inbounds. Adam Thielen, if he's still on your waivers. And Stephon Diggs is kind of looking questionable this week with that little knee banged up. And he's got to play early morning on Thanksgiving. And if he can't even practice tomorrow, because they didn't even practice, he hasn't been practicing yet this week, so if he doesn't practice before that game, I think it might be all systems go. Adam Thielen against those Detroit Lions, who are kind of, you know, not that great of a defense out there.
Yeah, I think he's definitely becoming that possession receiver in Minnesota. Another guy coming on, I think he's back-to-back 15-point weeks for Tajay Sharp in Tennessee.
Yeah, he scored in back-to-back weeks, scored over 15 in back-to-back weeks in PPR. And if you're in desperate need for a wide receiver 4, and I know I am in one of my leagues, I got some waiver wire dollars on him out there. And oh boy, I mean, I'm kind of hoping I kind of get him because he's playing against them Bears this week, and I think he can maybe get in the end zone one more time out there.
Yeah, at least one more time.
Oh, I'm feeling it. Oh, Bears are shitty. Everybody's dead on the Bears. We got more people getting carted off the field than first downs. It's a goddamn shit show out there. I mean, Matt Barkley, Bears, I'm sorry if you got tickets this week or for the rest of the season, but Matt Barkley is dead. You can't. We should just run that Fails guy we signed off the Ravens practice squad. I mean, for God's sakes, Bears.
Just lose the rest of them.
Just run him out. Fails doesn't even know the fucking plays, but we're gonna run him out there with Matt Barkley because I'm telling you right now, if you're taking the over/under on like 5 first downs for the Bears with Matt Barkley at the helm, I'm taking the fucking under, Bears. All day. Rough sauce. Matt Barkley and the rest of these shit clowns. Who do you have anybody to throw to? Poor Matt Barkley sucks enough. Now I don't even have his supporting cast. He's done. He's already done.
All right, one other receiver we're going to touch on here. He still is likely to be owned in some of your leagues, but for some reason, if you're in a season-long league where there's no keepers and a guy cut Sammy Watkins early, he's a guy you might be able to scoop up and help you in that playoff stretch here.
Yeah, definitely a wait and see. They say he might play some snaps this week. I'm not saying by any means you just run him out there this week. That's insane, but I mean, if he looks out there and looks solid and maybe even give him another week, and if you got like one of them late season, you don't play in your playoffs till like week 15 or something, that's a very sexy wait and see for a guy like Sammy Watkins if you're in dire need for a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3 down the stretch, baby. We got some tight ends to pick up, and Jared Cook and old boy Austin Hooper, who we hit on a few weeks ago. And the last time I said Austin Hooper's name, people, he got in that end zone. So I think you should get up on him this week, especially if Jacob Tamme now done for the year.
Yeah, and Cook coming out of nowhere, he might have his high water mark of the year.
I think that might be smoke and mirrors. I mean, the guy shit the game down his leg with that late game fumble. So I mean, that
on top of dropping another touchdown early in the game, turned away from the throw.
That was his swan song. I'm almost on to let somebody else go out there and get Jared Cook and overpay for him. But if you're in desperate, dire need, you got absolutely fucking nothing. I think Jared Cook, I guess, is worth a look in this fucking very pass-heavy Green Bay Packer offense.
All right. Done with the waiver wire. Let's talk about some matchups here. We'll start off with them QBs.
Oh, and to start with them QBs, I got a love letter right here. See that? Tankers and Kirk. I love you, buddy. Oh, my goodness. We're going into this, Kirk, and it all started in London when I benched Uncle Phil for you in London because he was in Denver, and that was a tough matchup. You went out there and you dropped 458 yards and 2 touchdowns against them Bengals. Then my love couldn't get any deeper for you, Kirk. You went out there on Uncle Phil's bye week last week when I needed that FFPC playoff push in week 11 to slide in there. And you went out there and dropped 375 yards and 3 touchdowns on the Packers and single-handedly propelled me into the FSC playoffs. But enough about me, Kirk, my love. You've been on a tear, averaging 320 yards over the past 6 games. And you sexy beast, only thrown for 1 interception in the past 4. My goodness, Phillip Rivers be damned. I'm running you out there on Thanksgiving, and you, my brother, are winning that gobble and gobble award, motherfucking my undying love. Oh, baby. I love you, Kirk. I love you so much, baby. I don't know where my lighter is, but if I did, I'd light that shit up for you, baby, because I'm running you out there in the FFC playoffs. And I'm gonna mail you this sucker, baby, because I love ya.
Is that enough Whitney Houston?
Enough with the Whitney. Cutting the Whitney off, but that one's for you, Kirk, baby. Alright, get into another good quarterback play. We're talking about Ben Roethlisberger against the Colts, who are probably going to be minus Andrew Luck, so it's probably going to be all systems go. Pittsburgh's probably going to have this ball, all fucking game probably, and the Colts are giving up the most pass yards and averaging giving up 2 touchdown passes a game to opposing quarterbacks out there. So it's all systems go, Ben Roethlisberger this Sunday, baby.
Alright, who else we got here?
Oh, we got David Carr at home playing against them Panthers. They're giving up the 3rd most pass yards a game, giving up 290 fucking yards passing a game, and they're going across the fucking country to play out in Oakland. And you know David Carr is just pumped coming off that sexy 4th quarter comeback in Mexico. You boys like Mexico? David Carr does, and he's going to go out there and rebound very sexily against this this weak-ass Panthers secondary. He's just going to give it to him, baby.
Another guy coming on hot, Eli Manning, facing Cleveland this week here. The Browns are giving up the 2nd most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. And the 3rd, on top of 2nd most is overall points, 3rd most touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, Eli Manning against the Browns, I'm feeling is an all-systems-go situation this week. If you got Eli Manning... and
you got Sterling Sharp, who's been coming on here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Giants, I think, are looking to absolutely shred. I mean, I know the Bears somehow shut down Odell Beckham last week, but I think Odell Beckham about to open a can of whoop ass on the Cleveland Browns this week. I think it's all systems go. Yeah, everybody in there.
Start Shepard, start Odell. Even Will Tye has been getting it going.
I mean, Jesus Christ, even Rashad Jennings is on that tear. I mean, he pushed the Bears shit in last week. and he had a solid game the week before against the Bengals, and I think it's Rashad Jennings this week against some Cleveland Browns. I think it's all systems go. I mean, if you got Rashad Jennings and you need an RB3 / maybe Herbert hurting on that RB2, I think you can go out there and get a good 15 PPR points out of Rashad Jennings.
All right, and a guy who did absolutely nothing until the last 2 drives of the game, where he leads them to victory. We got Ryan Tannehill up against the Niners, who on top of being an absolutely terrible run defense, they're giving up the 2nd most pass touchdowns on the season.
And if you're in absolutely dire straits, which we are in a league this coming Sunday with Andrew Luck going down, not looking like he's going to play Thanksgiving, if you're in absolute dire straits, we got to run out old Carson Wentz, but thank goodness he's playing the Packers, who have just been vomiting up passing yards these last couple of weeks. Just fucking vomiting up out there, Packers. I mean, my goodness, the Bears defense is bad, but I think the Packers might have a little worse defense out there.
All right, get into some tough matchups here. We'll kick it off with Uncle Phil here. He's got Houston D, and, I mean, they're pretty stout. 3rd fewest yards to quarterbacks. I mean, they're really doing it against them out there.
Yeah, only giving up, 220 yards passing a game is the Texans. I know David Carr came back and beat them late, but he was looking like a goddamn shit show at halftime. I think they only had
70, 80 yards passing.
At halftime they had like 80 yards of total offense. I think 70 of those were passing, but my goodness, that is not good. The Texans are kind of holding them down out there. Oh, we got another Stafford against the Vikings. They're getting up the 3rd fewest points to quarterbacks this season, so, if you got other options, I might lean toward them, especially with the short week. Stafford having to play on that Thanksgiving till at 11:30. I don't know. I might lean toward other options like some of the dudes we talked about in the good section.
And going against Seattle this week, we got Jameis Winston. Seattle giving up the 2nd fewest TDs to quarterbacks on the year, averaging less than 1 passing touchdown a game here so far.
Oh, yeah. I mean, another guy who's been your absolute sexy boy all year is Matt Ryan, but he has a tough matchup coming out of his bye week against the Cardinals, who are giving up the fewest passing yards and fewest passing touchdowns this year. I mean, if you got any other options, I know Matt Ryan's been your sexy boy, but I think he might have to go elsewhere this week.
All right, getting into some running backs. Talk about some good action here. Let's see, who we got? We got Le'Veon Bell.
He's going to Hulk smash the shit out of the fucking Colts on Thanksgiving. And that's all that needs to be said about that. We got Gore playing against Pittsburgh, who's giving up the 3rd most touchdowns to running back, along with the 2nd most default fantasy points to running back. So Frank Gore's been your sexy boy RB2 all year, and he is definitely going to continue his sexy boy RB2 trend this Sunday night against the Steelers. Or against Thursday night, Thanksgiving night, against the Steelers.
We got the matchup-proof Jay Ajayi here.
Yeah, matchup-proof
going against the cottage cheese 49ers, giving up almost 200 scrimmage yards a game to running backs.
Oh, Jay Ajayi, I think he's going to just absolutely eat out there this Sunday, and I hope he just shreds them because I'm leaning on him in a couple leagues this week.
You're going to have to buy a jersey.
I might have to get a jersey. If I win a league that I drafted Jay Ajayi late in and I kept him in this one league, everybody and their brother was saying he's the worst keeper that ever lived, and he showed him Ajayi. You showed him, baby. And this week, I think you're going to shine hard in Miami against the Niners' terrible run D. Oh, baby, let's get on to Spencer Ware going to the Broncos. The Broncos are coming off that bye, but they are giving up 157 yards from scrimmage a week to running back, which is 3rd most in the league. So, I mean, if you got Spencer Ware, RB2 style, I think I'm all systems go RB2 this week, Spencer Ware.
And we got Lamar Miller, fresh off a touchdown game. He's going up against the Chargers, have been giving up the 3rd most touchdowns by running backs this year.
Oh, Gurley, I know Gurley's been kind of shitting it for you this year, and you're kind of let down by him. But he looked all right out there with Jared Goff, and he's playing against the Saints, who are giving him the 3rd most touchdowns to running backs.
And another guy we talked about scooping up, we saw CJ Procise get his chance to scoop him up, but also to take a look at Rawls coming back from injury. And I think Rawls can be in serious consideration for like a back-end RB1 spot again here.
Oh, I'm serious. Thomas Rawls might start winning people leagues out there if you've been holding on to him, waiting to shine as your RB2. And I think he's about to shine because they cut Christine Michael and CJ Procise is done for the year. I think Thomas Rawls might save your fucking season out there. And I mean, I wish I had a little piece of that action, but I unfortunately do not.
And he's got a great matchup going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, giving up the third most yards to running backs at about 150 a game. And I think, like we said, this guy can, like a Jotty, you scooped him up late. I mean, he can win you leagues here.
Oh, win you leagues. Now we're going to get into a little bad action, a little tough matchups for running backs, maybe some possible sits. If you got other options to even think about, and we're going to lean off with Freeman and Coleman playing against the Cardinals. They're giving up the fewest scrimmage yards to running backs and the fewest amount of fantasy points running backs this year. Cardinals are shutting it down both via the pass and the run this year. Their defense is just out there destroying people.
And Jeremy Hill, he's got a tough matchup, but I still think you have to get him out there as an RB2. At least temper expectations a bit going against Baltimore. But I think Jeremy Hill is going to have a drastic uptick in his touches and catches as well, with Gio now out for the year.
You know, they said they went out there. Chip Kelly said we're going to, Carlos Hyde, we're going to feature Carlos Hyde in this offense. But, I mean, he is playing the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are surprisingly, I mean, they're doing it out there. They're giving up the second fewest touchdowns to running backs this year. I mean, that's fucking doing it, Dolphins, and it's in Miami. They got to go fly across, you know, that west to east. Playing that noon tilt is always hard for these teams. I don't know. I mean, if you got other, I mean, I know Carlos Hyde, you probably got to run him out there, but if you got other options, I think I might go for these other options because he is, you know, that's a tough spot. I mean, he's kind of a touchdown guy.
And your boy that you got up on waiver wires a few weeks ago, and Rob Kelly, he's got a tough matchup against Dallas, giving up the 5th fewest TDs to running backs and the 7th fewest points overall for backs this fantasy season.
Oh, baby. Now what? We getting to some receivers?
Some cheddar here.
Oh, again, I'm a sexy receiver. Everybody loves wide receivers. We're going to lead off with Doug Baldwin, who's even fucking throwing for touchdowns out there. He's catching touchdowns. He's throwing touchdowns out there, people. Oh, he's been your sexy dream boat these last couple of weeks, and I think it's going to continue against the Buccaneers. They're giving up the 4th most touchdowns to wide receivers thus far. Oh, baby.
We got Larry Fitzgerald going against that Atlanta secondary. They're giving up a touchdown and a half on average a game to receivers this year.
Yeah, that's 28th in the NFL, you know. So all systems go. Larry Fitzgerald's kind of been your guy. I know he kind of slides down at the end of the year these last couple of seasons, but I don't think there's any way, even shape or form, to think he can't be a solid-ass wide receiver 2 for you moving forward.
All right, we got a little bundle here. We're going to say both Miami receivers. Landry's still looking a little banged up, but Parker's been your boy lately. And both of them have great matchups against the Niners this week here.
Yeah, the Niners are giving it up via the run. They're giving it up via the pass. So they're giving up second most touchdowns to second most fantasy points to wide receivers. I mean, it's all systems go, all Dolphins players this week. I know that sounds weird, but I'm feeling it, people. Devontae Parker's been on that tear. Ooh, and he might be another one of those guys that could possibly win you money in your fantasy playoffs.
We hit on Tajay Sharp earlier in the week, but the guy across the field from Rashard Matthews, I mean, both these guys playing against the Bears this week, who are just handing over points to receivers all year.
Oh, yeah, baby. I mean, Rashard Matthews, the Bears, I mean, you know, they did kind of limit Mike Evans and Odell Beckham these last 2 weeks, but they're still getting beat by other guys. And, you know, Rashard Matthews isn't really the type of guy for a team to, like, focus in and take out. I think he's kind of still under the radar as far as, like, NFL coaching staffs go. So I think, like, Rashard Matthews is still an all-systems-go sexy wide receiver 3. I mean, he's been absolutely raking it for you these last 4 or 5 weeks. Oh, my goodness.
He was averaging, what, 15, 16 points over his last...
Yeah, and then he dropped another, 19 for you last week? He did it up for you out there. Rashard Matthews, all systems go. He didn't even score last week, and he still had a sexy damn week for you. All right, what we got? Kelvin Benjamin versus the Raiders, and I know Kelvin Benjamin has kind of been for you, this year, especially these last few weeks. But the Raiders are giving up the second most yards, the wide receivers, so I'd feel pretty solid about them, I guess, as a wide receiver 2, borderline wide receiver 3 play, I guess.
And I know it's crazy that we got an Eagles guy just because there's so many mouths to feed. But Jordan Matthews, I feel like if there's one guy that's going to give fits to the Packers this week, I think it's going to be him. I also think it's going to be Zach Ertz. He's getting a little more involved in the offense here. And the Packers are absolutely atrocious against tight ends this season. So I think those two guys can definitely get their fill against the Packers, who have shown that they're absolutely one of the worst defenses out there.
Yeah, we touched on Sterling Shepard a little bit earlier when we talked about Eli. The Browns are 28th in fantasy points allowed to wide receivers, so all systems go Sterling Shepard this week. And let's get into some bad, some kind of rougher plays at wide receiver. We got some Mike Evans facing the Seahawks, and I know there's no fucking way me or you or anybody else on God's green earth is going to bench fucking Mike Evans. But he does have a pretty tough matchup in the Seahawks, giving up the 4th least touchdowns to wide receivers and the 6th fewest fantasy points. But all you got to say is that maybe that, it is in Tampa. So maybe that, like I said earlier, that flight from Seattle all the way to Tampa might give him a little jet lag, whatever the fuck, and then and Mike Evans go out there and be your sexy boy. But there's no goddamn way anybody's fucking benching this guy. I'm just saying that he might not be your undying love, like Kirk Cousins.
Now, these might be some of the toughest sit-to-start questions you can have, but T.Y. and Moncrief, you're thinking there's absolutely no way you can sit T.Y. He's been your man all year. But Thursday night with Scott Tolzien?
Scott fucking Tolzien. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck is gone, people, so that dream is over. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck wasn't doing it for you, but he was doing something. I don't know what Scott Tolzien is even capable of. He might be a Matt Barkley-ass motherfucker. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Especially on this short week, I think if you got other options, my goodness, I know T.Y. and Moncrief are kind of your sexy boys, but I think you got to bench them. I think you got to bench everybody on the Colts that isn't named Frank Gore. I think you gotta. What do we got, baby? Allen Robinson playing against the Bills. They're going to have the 6th fewest touchdowns wide receivers, and that's kind of how Allen Robinson eats is via the touchdowns, and the Bills are going to shut that down. I know I'm not saying sit Allen Robinson by any means, but, I'll temper a little bit of expectations out there for you, boy.
You thought he was finally getting it going, and then laid out a nice, 3 catches for you
3
last
for
week?
18, and one of those 3 for 18 was a touchdown, so he got you that 10 points in PPR, which is, above the Mendoza line of shititude. But, I think he's back on the wide receiver 2 map. I don't think he's necessarily going to push the wide receiver 1 map, for the rest of the year. I think he's definitely back on that wide receiver 2 map based on targets and, targets alone, really.
All right, let's get your boy.
Mikey Dub.
Your boy here, Power of the Earn.
Power of the Earn. The Power of the Earn continues for Mikey Dub, but he does have a tough matchup against the Ravens. They're giving up the 5th fewest yards to wide receivers, and Mikey Dub eats via the yards. He's not eating per reception out there. He's eating versus the yards, and the Ravens be shutting that down. So I don't know. Other options might sit Mikey Dub, but it's fucking tough out there, boys.
Who's Mike Wallace got?
Mike Wallace. Who the fuck am I saying? Mike Wallace plays for the Ravens. I'm out of my fucking mind. I don't know. He has somebody. Whoever they are.
Sit him.
They're the Bengals. I know now. The Bengals, baby. The Bengals. He plays the Bengals. I wrote down some stupid shit.
Sit him.
Oh my God, I fucking anchormaned you there. I just telepromptered the shit out of you, and I'm sorry. He plays the Bengals, and the Bengals are apparently good against fucking receivers.
All right, we got a good juicy double sit here. We got Golden Tate and Marvin Jones against the Purple Rain. 2nd fewest yards against receivers this year, and I just Marvin Jones, you thought he was going to maybe sneak into that wide receiver 1, maybe wide receiver 2. I don't even know if he's wide receiver 3
God
anymore.
damn, you thought he was going to win you fucking leagues in the first month of the season, and then he's just dead. He's just worse than he even was in Cincinnati. He's just done. He's just and Golden Tate had a shitter last week. I think Golden Tate's kind of the guy.
Really, Ebron and Riddick were the only dudes that even showed up.
Ebron's been healthy on the field this year. He's kind of been eating out there. I mean, he's getting like 7 or 8 looks a game and turning those looks into like 5, 6 catches. He even ran for a fucking touchdown last week. I mean, my goodness, Ebron running Murder Allen Hernandez type plays out there, sneaking in on the tight end rush. Who does that? All right, we got Chiefs wide receivers.
But you're probably not starting these guys anyway. But
I know Tyreek Hill is kind of, and people have been kind of on that song. People have been kind of high on it. But this week, I'm saying sit all Chiefs wide receivers. The Broncos.
Sit anything's Chiefs, really.
Oh God, the Broncos. I mean,
any pass related Chiefs.
Yeah, they're kind of even worried about Alex Smith playing in this game out there, and they're giving. I mean, the Broncos are giving up the fucking fewest yards and touchdowns to wide receivers this year, and I mean it's
going to continue.
It's going to continue, and they might even focus all their energies on this. If Macklin don't play, they might focus all their energies on Travis Kelce, and what might cock a lot of Travis Kelce owners out there this week. I mean, Jesus Christ! I mean, if you're going to double anybody, it might as well be Travis Kelce if Macklin's not even on the field. What else they got?
Get into some tight ends here. We got the good matchups. We got the reindeer games. Kyle Rudolph playing against the Detroit Lions, who are just garbage against tight ends here.
All systems go. I know we talked about Kyle Rudolph had a shit matchup against the Cardinals last week, but it is all systems go. Reindeer games this week against them Detroit Lions. Start them, put them in there, lock it up. Who we got? Dennis Pitta?
Who plays for the Ravens?
Yeah, it's been a Raven. Another Raven. Not Ravens playing against the Ravens. Raven, what the fuck am I saying? Bengals have given up the most yards per game to tight ends. So, I mean, Dennis Pitta, I know he's a shit road trucker, but if you're hurting, Dennis Pitta is definitely worth a start this week.
All right, bad matchups here.
Bad.
Got Delaney Walker, who's just getting it rolling again here. What's he, a top 5 fantasy tight end so far this year again?
Rolling had a little soft week last week, but yeah, been blowing it up. He's been dependable for you. But, I mean, the Bears are somehow giving up, the 5th fewest yards to tight ends this week? And I mean, this year, and the Bears somehow are shutting down tight ends. I'm not saying bench Delaney Walker against the fucking Bears. I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm playing him. I'm starting him out there in the U.
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I'm just saying if somehow he goes out there and drops under 10 PPR points, don't be surprised, because the Bears haven't really been that fucking soft on tight ends this year. But I'm saying run him out there against them Bears, baby. I mean, they're going to have the ball game. I mean, like I said, I'm taking the under on 5 first downs for the Matt Barkley. You're taking the under. You heard it here first, goddammit. You're taking the under. I'm fucking it's in.
We talked about him earlier. Travis Kelce. He's got it. I mean, I think he's the only guy that Denver really needs to focus on this week.
I mean, why the hell not? They just got to make sure Tyreek Hill don't beat him over the top. And other than that, I think it's double up Travis Kelce no matter where he's on the field. I really do. Another guy has a kind of a shitty matchup for a tight end. Gates is playing against Houston, giving him the 4th fewest points to tight ends this week. And I know Gates is kind of turning it on to your sexy boyness. He's coming off the bye.
But I don't feel too bad about playing Gates.
Nah, I
think he's gonna get the targets, and even in Mexico they gave up some Clive Walford action, so I'm feeling pretty decent about it.
I'm feeling pretty decent about old shit Gates out there. Yeah, all right, people. Well, we have reached the end of the segment.
Oh, we got an ad here.
Oh, we got a stupid goddamn ad going for you.
Then we got some horses.
All right, here we go. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe below. We incredibly enjoy that shit when you ask us your Who Do I Start question. You can even email us your questions at tankersfantasyfootball@gmail.com.
We love Twitter.
Or tweet that shit to me. Tweet that shit to me. I will answer your questions. We can get into arguments. If you like arguing with motherfuckers on the internet, I'm down with arguing with motherfuckers on the internet. Tweet me your shit at Tankers Fantasy Football, baby. Holla at your boys.
Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next week.
Caught a snake once. I skinned it. Drank its blood.